Welcome back. Thank you for tuning in. 1520 WBZW. We have Greg Jackson and Rod Love here, and this is just such an incredible conversation that we're having about our hometown and then the surrounding areas too, how one impacts the other and how we all really are this movable puzzle that just keeps going, and everything that we do here affects somebody somewhere else.
That's right.
Isn't that the game of life?
Oh,
Yeah.
Absolutely. And speaking of having a conversation, Saturday, Greg, where are we at Saturday and what time?
Oh, Saturday we are going to be meeting with so from the community emergency response meeting. Some young people came to the meeting. They were very silent at the meeting. We noticed that they were there, but they weren't really participating. Rod and I, as we always do, we extended ourselves, gave them our personal cell numbers, and said, "Listen, if you all ever want to talk, let's sit down and have a conversation." And they took us up on it. So we're going to be meeting with 6 young people from the community who work in the community, do different things. One of them, I believe, was actually on your show at one time. If I remember her name, I'll say it, but she has like a dance program that she's trying to get started in Apopka, and it's 6 of them. So we're going to be at Olive Garden
In Altamont.
on Saturday, and then Sunday.
Sunday, we will be at Perkins with another group of young people over at Perkins in Apopka off of 441.
Yeah.
And that starts, I think, Greg, at 3:00.
Yeah. So, I mean, from the efforts that we started in 2016 with the task force and inviting young people to sit at the table and not just sit there, but to be vocal and tell us what it is and how you want to see this community. Because, as much as I, hate to think about it, at some point in time, I'm not going to be here. We're going to leave this to our kids, to our grandkids at some time in the future. And so we've invited the young people to be a part of it. And because of that, we've had something to take us up on it. And we're hoping to build the bridge or build the bench.
Build a bench,
is what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
We can't do this forever, so.
Well, and you know what? You have this task force and you have all this information. Now, are you able to talk to the mayor, or does this go bigger than that? Is this the governor?
Well, the mayor has definitely been embracing of looking at what can he do from where he sits to help the city progress forward. Now, when you talk about the governor, Greg and I both have been looking at how can we engage, because Governor DeSantis has been on fire.
We have a new governor. Yeah.
Yes, he's been on fire, and I'm talking about his polling popularity is
67%, I believe now.
And I tell you what, and I don't get into the opinions factor of it, but when you look at what this guy has actually been doing, I mean, been very effective. But so we got the governor, we have Mayor Nelson that's been getting their arms around it, but we want to put out that clarion call to Governor DeSantis to come visit our community. We welcome you, and this is going to be friendly territory because some of the things that he's doing, we're just taking away with it because he is actually getting some things done, and he's only been there. Well, Greg got sworn in January.
I think his first 100 days just passed.
Yeah.
Not too long
ago. Isn't that something?
Yeah. And we know that he comes to this area. I mean, he was in Winter Park a couple times when he announced that they were going to drop the lawsuit for the smokable form of medicinal marijuana. As a matter of fact, and I don't know if Brother Love remembers this, but I sat on a small business panel with then Representative DeSantis when he came to Orlando to speak. So we know that he spends a lot of time here in Central Florida, and that he definitely has his pulse on the needs of the community.
And the work that needs to get done, Debbie, is not work that's going to be partisan work.
Right.
This is across the board. We don't get caught up into party affiliation and any of that nonsense. We just want people to come up and step to the table and help us. Greg, we always talk about what are we all about?
Results.
Getting about results.
That's right. That's right.
You know what? And that's good. And not listening to the noise in the background, because again, I'm a Facebook junkie here. And so I read this stuff and I see this stuff and it's polar opposites. Oh, we want this and we need to have this. And why isn't the city doing this? And the minute the city steps up and takes action and says, guess what? We're going to have this. Oh, why are you putting it there? Why are you doing? It's like it's a seesaw back and forth. You can't win for trying. You can't win for doing nothing. Like, it's just crazy.
Right.
So you just eliminate all that, and we're just going to keep trucking forward because the betterment of the all
overall community
versus the one person or the two people that are squawking.
You got to put the blinders on.
Yeah, I got to tell you, we actually had to evolve to a point that we're at now, and I gotta give Greg this credit. He he told me, and this goes back, probably 8 months ago, because you hear a whole lot of noise when you're out there trying to do good, and you're going to have folk that are coaching you on, and you're going to have your naysayers.
You're right.
And one of the things Greg and I was doing, we were doing it quietly. At least we thought we were doing it quietly. but my friend from Tallahassee, Leon County,
the greatest of all, the great metropolis of Tallahassee. That's where I'm from. That's right. Hey, listen.
He called me one night and he says, "Hey, brother Love, man, it's a sad frog that won't croak over his own pond."
That's right.
And so when we started croaking over this pond, we actually got more folk engaged and coming to the table. And some of the stories are sad too. Tony Jackson and Kenny Hampton,
That's
both gentlemen who attended the forum, but something else both of these gentlemen have in common that none of us ever want to experience. Both of these gentlemen lost their sons to murder.
Yeah.
And they were
and nobody saw anything.
Mm-hmm.
A crowd of people, they were murdered in a crowd of people, but no one saw anything.
But I tell you what, they're out there and they're working, they're getting the word out. They're articulating that there is a better tomorrow.
Isn't that all we can do?
Yeah.
It's all we can do, but guess what? You'd be surprised that some folk who are sitting on the sideline, and that's what this is all about.
Well, that's the thing too. You're sitting on the sidelines and you're throwing the stones.
Right.
That's the. I'm like, come on, let's do.
Right.
And the people that we talk to here, it's just amazing. And we just had one yesterday. They're like, I just had this feeling in my heart, and I needed to do something about it. And I looked up and went, "Oh, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm just gonna try." Oh, and then you just keep going, and that's how things get done.
That's right. That's right.
But things get done when you come over here on to the Debbie O'Brien show too.
That's right.
That's right. It's because we listen and we share the stories. And you know what? You hear me on the radio from 3 to 5. And when I go home, I'm like, everybody goes into my heart. I'm like, oh, okay, what about this? You get text, oh, how can we help this person? Oh, this person needs to know this person. And it's a whole networking thing that I do, because you can't keep this to yourself. That's just foolish.
Right. That's right. It helps to have a good friend. And I give it up for Greg. I'm not going to go in heavy because he get a little teary eyed.
Yeah,
but
we got Kleenex.
It's good to have a good friend and
cry
partner.
We got to cry, y'all. We got to cry.
But I tell you, it's work that's worth doing.
Yeah.
Isn't again humbling? It's very humbling.
Because we do run into naysayers, and we run into the people who question our motives. Well, why are you doing this? I ran for public office. When I ran for public office and I said that I wanted to work in this community, everyone thought, well, when I lost, which I lost twice, and it's fine, that I was going to go away. And I told them, I said, listen, I was sincere about working in this community, and win, lose, or draw, I'm vested, and I'm going to be in this community. And when I met Rod Love, we were actually on opposite sides.
Oh my gosh, I thought you guys have been brothers since year 5.
So get this. So when I ran for county commissioner.
Wait a minute. We're going to have to hold this thought.
And you're going to tell a story.
Honestly, I thought you were like forever friends.
Oh no.
Well, you better tune back in to hear this story Greg about to tell you.
Yeah, that's your cliffhanger. Coming up next.
We'll be right back. 1520 WBZW.